Good evening. This is Tuesday. I guess you're saying, she's coming in on Tuesday. Yes, I am, because this is a continuation from Sunday. I'm going to call it a series, but I will call it a continuation. As I said on Sunday, well, first of all, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Crossroads. Thank you so much for tuning in. You, the subscribers to either my YouTube channel or Tabitha Kingdom Outreach, my Facebook page. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. I don't take that lightly. People do a lot of things just because it's something to do. But whenever it comes to my Tabitha Kingdom Outreach page, I really do believe that the people that have and it's not that many at all. I don't even have 200, but it doesn't bother me. It really don't. It does not bother me, the number, but what matters to me is that it's being seen. And sometimes you might not need what's going out today, but my mom, they used to say, just keep living, just keep living. But I'm just grateful that it'll be out there when you need it. Not if you need it, but it'll be out there when you need it. For them that are tuning in, that's joining me live as I go through this training session, thank you so much. Welcome. Blessings of the Lord be upon you. And now let's get to some really, really good things. Just to give you a recap, Tony used to say, let me give you the backstory. But just to give you a recap from what it was that we were dealing with on last Sunday, we were talking about it's time for us to get our minds. A lot of people think that we can get our mind right, but do you know what right is? Do you know what a right mind is? So before we go that deep, to go into that extent, your mind can be right, but it's going to take an encounter for you to have to let you know just where you are mentally. Let's say it like that. I have the word on the board behind me, and the word is encounter. This is what I did. Everything that I'm talking about tonight is literally is based from 1 Samuel, the 10th chapter, verses 1 through 7. You say, how do you get all of that? From what you said Sunday, and even from what you're going to say on tonight, how do you get all of that from those 7 verses? Well, you have to understand there's a spiritual side and a natural side. And so many people live in the natural that whenever they're introduced to the spiritual, it seems hard to comprehend, when it's really not that hard at all. And as I said, it's going to take an encounter. I'll get into that a little bit later on, but let me give you the definition for the word that I'm going to use whenever I say encounter. I use this definition, and it says, an unexpected or casual meeting with someone or something. So we understand that encounters can be unexpected, and then they can be casual. It can also be with someone, or you can have an encounter with something. And we know both of that is definitely true. Man, that plane flying low today. Do y'all hear that? It's okay. It's gone. You can have an encounter. We encounter people every day. And then sometimes, whenever it says that we encounter, things. Trying to let that plane go by. Whenever it says that we encounter things, that's like, one car hitting another. That's you in the car. That's an accident. That's unexpected in some cases, and sometimes you can see it coming, and you're still not prepared for it. So, encounters. That's what we're going to be. That's the real focus of everything. Another thing that I want to tell you from Sunday that's going to set the stage for tonight training session is that we live in a society that's always looking for things. Whenever what we really need to be looking for is a who, not things. With me saying that, that's going to tear down all ideologies and all beliefs that you really do know yourself. You don't know yourself. I don't know who I am until I have a specific encounter with who I need to have that will reveal to me who I am. That's going to reveal to me at that present state where I am that that's not who I am. But in that place that I am, who I am, I'm having that encounter with who I'm having it with because there's somebody else that I have to become. Okay. When we talk about encounters, sometimes we have encounters and we don't do what we need to do with that encounter, in that encounter. And sometimes it's simply because we don't know. Simply because we don't know. But when after we leave having that encounter, it can be a week, 2 weeks, a month, but it'll come back and you'll realize that there was something that you should have done during that time that you did not do. And that brings us to this place where tonight we're going to talk about our missed opportunities. Yeah. That's whenever we realize that in that place there was an opportunity presented, but I didn't take it either because I did not know, I did not realize, I did not recognize, I was not in tune. And as conscious as we think we are, sometimes we go and encounters and we be just as unconscious as we can be. Because we walk away and we don't take from it what it is we need, what it was that was sent to us in that place and in that time. So we think that we missed that opportunity at that particular time. And then whenever we really realize what it is that we missed in the place that we left, the question is, then what did we do? What do you do? It's the doing or the lack of that causes God to create situations for us. It's either what you do in that encounter or what you don't do in that encounter that causes God to create situations for us, because God is going to make sure that the opportunity that we realize, whether even though it's after the fact, He's then going to make sure that He creates another situation to show us that what we're missing, He's going to set it up. And He's going to allow us to have another opportunity to receive or to get what it was we thought we missed. Can somebody say He's good?
He is
Can
good.
somebody say He's good? In other words, what I've just said is this in plain English. God knows what it's going to take to get you to move. He knows, and what do we say? I say it too. Lord, you know what's best for me. Now, it sounds good, right? I was privileged today to have a conversation. I was actually on my job, and I was speaking with a major, and we were having a phone conversation. And I'm so thankful for him because he asked me this question. He said, Miss Tabitha, he said, can I ask you a question? And I said, you sure most certainly can. He said, the people where you work, he said, do they know who you are? He said, are you able to have conversations with them like the one we're having? And I told him, listen, this is so true. This is the truth. I would not tell you a word of lie, because he was from a different culture, and he literally wanted to talk to me about the things that be of God. He said, I love calling you, talking to you. Oh, of course, he took care of the business he needed to, but he placed what he wanted to know before that business. I love it because he was so honest. He was brutally honest about the things that he wanted to know about. He said, you know what? He said, I generally do the Lord's Prayer. He said, I do it because I think it covers everything. I said, okay. He said, but one thing I'm not ever going to do. He said, I'm not going to ever pray and ask God anything from me. How many of you can say that when you pray, you never ask God for anything for yourself? Man, he took me out with that one. He said, I don't. And when I I'm going to give you the reason why. He said he doesn't ask for anything for himself. He said, because what I understand, he said, whenever I look and I read the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, he said, even Jesus. He said, in order to get some of the things you're asking for, he said, you got to go through something. And I said, you know what? I said, so you don't want to go through anything to get what it is you want? He said, no, I sure don't. I said, but then you said that you saw in the Word that Old Testament and New Testament, and you said even Jesus, they all went through something. These people went through something. I said, and sometimes, I said, you don't have to ask for things that you go through, because he knows what's best for you. Here we go again. Because he knows what's best for you, he knows what to create for you. He knows what to allow for you. He knows what to permit for you. And he said, I never looked at it like that. I said, but in actuality, he had the answer. From his reading, he had the answer. He talked to me about a plethora of things. And I was so grateful, so thankful just to be able to talk with someone, that had more than just tunnel vision. Somebody else that really recognized and honored God in the day, even while on the job, remembering, honoring, and still yet being able to get the job accomplished. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't talk to me about separating this from that. Whenever, look at the word individual and tell me what you see in that. I rest my case. Acts 2 and 4, what we talked about on last Sunday, that's whenever I got to give you this in order to bring you up to what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I'm really trying to, I wrote me some little notes that I could just touch on it real quick so that I won't just be stammering and stuttering all the way through this. Because whenever I listen to what's being said on the inside, it's going and it's flowing. It's only whenever I have to come here and look at you and you have to look at me. Sometimes, sometimes that quickening spirit hit me and I'll go. I'm gone. You don't have to worry about what I say. I don't even worry about what I say. But what I'm going to tell you is that Acts 2 and Acts the 2nd chapter, the 40th verse, this is Peter, speaking to the people. But this is what is important in this passage of scripture. He said, and he told them to save themselves from a backwards generation that they were living in. People calling right wrong, wrong right. That's backwards. You know, you thinking that anything goes is the right way. You know, it's to each his own. He was like, save yourself from everything that man is coming up with to allow you to live any way you want to live, and for you to think that it's all right. That's what we always have the can I call it correct judgment? Correct judgment. That's whenever we have the right advice, we have the knowledge, we have the answers, you know, to everybody else's. We can tell everybody else, you know, what to do, how to do it, give the best advice. We can judge everybody's situation, you know, whether they're right or they're wrong. And then we have such correct judgment for who we see and what we see them do. We can place and we can say everything that we want to say, but we just don't have the correct judgment for ourselves. And sometimes I know whenever we hear ourselves talk to somebody else and give them something, something of importance and something that we believe that they need, you know, we've heard what we said. And it's not about it sounding good. You know, we're believing that it's good for that person if they would take heed to what, or obey, or do what it is, you know, that what we have said. But we, as I said, we don't know how to autocorrect. We can't automatically correct ourselves. And sometimes in the same situation that we've given the advice to someone else concerning. So what we have to stop doing is we have to stop believing that we can receive what it is we need just by hearing alone. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word. What you hear should produce a picture for you to see. Stop believing that you can receive what you need by hearing alone. It is written. Now, this is a stumper and a stopper right here. It is written. You have to be able to hear, to see. And you need to read in order to be able to hear. It's not just hearing a person's voice and what a person is saying alone that's what we need in order to be able to see what it is we need to see and to know what it is we need to know. If we do not read what is written, then a lot of the times we really don't get what it is we need. I'm gonna throw this in really quick because this is dealing with prayer. This is dealing with us asking for what we see we want, what we see we need. But how many times have you received it? It is written. Let me tell you what it does. When you read, it gives strength to your prayers. When you read the word of God, it gives you strength. It gives strength to your prayers. Why? How do you say, how does that work? Because reading the word of God connects to what you want. You should be able to go in there and read, and you should be able to see. You already know before you open the book what it is you want. But reading what is written connects with what you want. And it also connects to what is wrong. Okay? And when you read it, it connects to what God is saying. And everything God said, God saw. So knowing what's written, and that's what prayer is. When you know what's written, you know what you want, you know what's wrong, then you have to connect all of that to reading to see what God is saying. And when you begin to pray what he has said, it gives your prayer the strength that it needs for the manifestation of what it is you're asking. So that's why I say, make it personal. Get your mind. I didn't say get nobody else's mind. You can't get anybody else's mind. Get your mind. Make it personal. Encounters are personal. Even if you're in a group. Because each individual has their own personal experience. I don't care how many of you all are together. You can hear the same thing, see the same thing. But you know what? You're an individual within a group, and you are having a personal encounter with either someone or something. Okay? So, loss, something that's lost, missed opportunities, delays, setbacks, whatever you want to call it, etc. It does not mean the word no. It does not mean no. Because, and the only way that you're going to find out that there is a yes is to have another encounter. That encounter will either allow you to get or to get back what you know to be lost or missing. Sunday, whenever we were finished, when I tell you off camera, we had a really, really, really live discussion. I mean, they were coming with some really, really great answers, questions, and saying what it was that they got. And I encourage you, if you did not see it live on last Sunday, by all means, go back and look at it. It's the beginning. But off camera, we had a lot of good things. A lot of good things that were said, and I'm so thankful because the people were saying what was in them to say. I get really, if after we do the training session, if the only thing that they regurgitate to me is what it is that was said, and they read what it was they wrote. This thing is personal. We're here, we're having an encounter, but everybody's having their own personal encounter. Thank God for standing room only again. But you have to make this personal because there is an encounter that's designed for each one of us as individuals to be found by someone. As I said, in our society, we always go looking for things. We look for things. We don't look to be found. We think we know who we are, where we are. We got it going on. We don't look to be found. We look for things that we have lost that's missing. We only go after what we think is vital. If you lost a foot of your tennis shoes and you look high and low and you cannot find it, you might think maybe the dog took it and he chewed it, he probably hit it or whatever. You shrug your shoulder there. Why? I can buy me another pair of tennis shoes. Oh, I'm mad that the dog probably got it, but I'm going to buy me another pair of tennis shoes. So the only strength you exerted in that place was your mind, after you began to look for a few minutes and found out that you couldn't find it. So you're good. You're good. You're settled that the shoe is lost or either it's gone. And you're going to get another pair. So that wasn't vital to you. I can get you another pair of shoes. What happens whenever God goes to the place where you would probably say, oh, he did too much now. Oh, this is the extreme. Oh, I can't take it. God, why? What happens? Remember what we said? He knows what's best for me. He said, save yourself. And I had got a question on last Sunday. Tori was asking, in retrospect, she was saying, after hearing everything, does it mean that whenever I get my mind, I'm just saying it as if she was the one saying it, whenever I get my mind, does that mean then that, it'll fix like relationships, whether it's division or whatever, will it fix relationships? And I told her, I said, you know what? I said, first things first. See, we have a tendency to always want to put the cart before the horse. Y'all better hear me. Listen at this really good. We have the tendency to put the cart before the horse first because we go to the end and we see what it is we want. And this encounter is designed for you to be found, for you to be saved first. He said if you seek, he didn't say things, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these other things, your relationship, your children, your car, your house, your yo, these other things, he said, it will be added. So I gotta tell y'all, you cannot trick God. You said, well, I'm not trying to. And I'm not saying, she wasn't saying that to say that that's what she was trying to do, but from what it is, we go to the very end to see what my benefit is going to be, what I'm going to get out of this. If I use you, God, if I get my mind back, my end goal is that relationships be restored. Well, first things first, you're probably the one that's broke. I'm not talking about money. You're probably the one that's broken. God knows that there's something in you that needs to be fixed first. Because a lot of times, to go back to relationships that you no longer have, if there has not been the correct or the right encounter, you're going back into what has not changed. And you're going back, and 10 times out of 10, it gets worse than what it was when you left it, or whenever it dissolved, or whatever you want to say, whenever it split, or whatever. It gets worse. There is an encounter because there's something else that we have to become. There's someone else that I have to become. A lot of the mistakes in our lives that we've made, there's an encounter for us to become, so that when these other things come around after the fact, I am now in this place who I need to be, who I ought to be, who I ought to be, who I ought to be. And since God understands that, humanly so, we only go after the things that are vital to us. So he sets up and he prepares things that will allow you to go look for things that you think you need. You say it's vital to your living, it's vital to your health, it's vital to. Just like in 1 Samuel, their asses went missing. That was something that was vital to that family, because that was a part of how that family survived, how it made its living, how it got what it needed. So God will always use something that you think is humanly vital for you, to you. He knows then that you'll get up and you'll go after it, because you're going after something. And so, his concern, though, is not about the things. God's concern is not about the things, but he knows what to use to get you to move toward the things, so that you can have an encounter with someone. This is the way I looked at it on the board. And I had it underlined. The definition, as I said, for encounter was an unexpected or casual meeting with someone or something. Unexpected or casual. Someone or something. For this particular encounter that I'm talking about, it's going to be unexpected and it's going to be with someone. Because when you go to what you think you're looking for, what you think that's vital, you're going to find out that, it's not lost and it's not missing. But you had to go to be able to have this unexpected encounter with someone. Everybody, you're going to have to get your mind for this. You're going to need a mind. Now, having it, this is what comes next. And this is how I'm going to end this particular portion. With this word. I know Danny told me that she said that I should get a black marker because she said maybe looking on the camera, you looking like this, you can't see. I used purple, but the word I wrote was when. This is the set up. As I said earlier, it's a lot of times that we walk every day. We have encounters every day. And in that encounter, we are consciously unconscious. We miss the seeing. Because unconsciously, we don't understand what it is we are hearing. And without having the understanding of what we hear, you will never get the picture that you need in order to go forward. And we can have several encounters in a day, within a week, within a month. And a lot of the encounters, it's just like passing somebody and just saying hi. But it's these encounters whenever we are engaging that sometimes, have you ever been talking to someone and you're talking and you're listening to what they're saying, but yet you're doing this and you're looking around to see, what else is going on around you, something else catches your eye, but yet you want this person to believe that you're still in sync with what they're saying. And every now and then, you're still listening, but you may say, yeah, just to give that impression that, hey, I'm still with you. That's the unconscious part of you. Because you're looking around to see what else you see. And you never get this picture from what it is you're hearing because you're not consciously focused, listening. That's how we miss some things that God wants to give us through some people. Because we don't, as individuals, we be within ourselves and we can divide ourselves, so we think. Individual. You can literally divide yourself. You mean to tell me you can listen to me and observe everything else around you and not miss a beat, not miss what I'm saying, and every now and then you'll glance back? What do you walk away with when the conversation is over? You still walk away empty. Because what it was you needed, it was there. It was there. It could have been it could have been the next set of instruction. It could have been a word it could have been, and it was. But you weren't there. See, absent from the body don't mean be present from the Lord. That's more than one way of looking at it for me. You can be in the presence of someone and be totally absent and totally miss your next word, your next set of instruction, your beginning. You can literally miss your start. Because when you become, that means that you have to be something that you are not already. It means that you have to turn into someone else. It's when. It's the when. When you get your mind, it's the when. Because that's the setup. How do you know that you have your mind? I wanted to say this earlier. I'll say it now at this juncture. We go looking for things that we think that are vital, humanly so. But God will take things, and He knows where He places them. And you will go looking. Some things you will recover, some things you won't. You can lose a loved one, and God knows where that person is. You can go looking. And what I mean is, you'll go to the cemetery, you go. But even if it takes that to get you to move, He can use it. He will use it. See, because on this side, while you're looking for things, God is looking for you. He's looking for the man. He's looking for you. And it's not a bad thing at all, because it really literally just shows you that who you are is not who you ought to be. And God is more concerned about who we ought to be, who we are to become, than where it is we decide that we're going to stay, we're going to keep ourselves, we're going to place ourselves. The question is, if seeing is connected to our hearing, what are you listening to? We say God can, and we say that God can, and He does. He can use anybody. But when does He? Can you hear? Can you hear? When does He? He can use anybody, but who are you listening to? He told us in the Word just like this. He told them, He said, when it came to Jesus, He said, "This is my beloved Son." He said, "Hear ye Him." Who are you listening to? If God can use anybody, if He can put a word in somebody for you to keep you going, or to start you to go, or to tell you where you're going, or because He's out there waiting on the encounter. Remember, He's the one that introduced Christ. He told him. And He has an introduction. He won't. Hey, but you have to listen. You have to hear. You have to be able to hear. We have to be able to hear. He sends. He sent His, and He sends His. But sometimes who we meet, we don't take into consideration, who it is, who sent them, why am I engaging, why are we talking. This is critical, because sometimes we miss our next, or we miss the opportunity to begin. If you have your mind, it says that you were able to unoccupy. You were able to let a lot of things go that held your mind in different places. If you're going to get your mind out of different places, then it comes this for us next. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do? To have the encounter that you need, what are you literally going to have to do? You, not God. What are you going to do? He tells us. He said it's yours, okay? You took it back. It's yours. He said, now, I would say, let this mind be in you. Are you really willing to render yours for his so that his can take control? And we then become. You don't know what a best life is apart from the mind of Christ. You don't know. You only know what your society has set you up to believe. But in the kingdom, it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world. It's a different set of rules. It's a different way of living. It's an encounter that you have, that you become sons, not numbers, not social security numbers. You're not known by a number. And yet, you have all things. When is the word? When will you either start for the encounter, or when will you become conscious as you travel so that you will have the encounter? Because all encounters are not with someone. Make sure this encounter that I'm speaking about, make sure this encounter is with the someone. Because he's already allowed you to go looking for something. And while you're looking for those things, he's looking for you. Sunday, I guess, is still going to be a continuation because, as I said, I can teach this from so many different angles. Leave with the word "when" on tonight. W-H-E-N. And this is not no wordplay. It's not for the W-I-N either, because there is, as I said before, we don't fight to win. We're doing what we're doing because we've already won. See, that's being toward. That's not untoward. See, you're fighting. Anybody that's fighting to win, you need to save yourself because you're in a backwards generation. That's backwards thinking. I'm fighting to win. No, if I already know that the battle is won, I'm fighting because I've already won. Listen at how you say some things. Listen to what you say. And ask yourself, when? When am I going to start this journey for real? And stop looking for things and go looking for him so I can be found. So that I don't have to live in a society. I can then take that word like they say, I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. See, you're in this world and of this world whenever you're untoward. Because you say what you hear being said. You react and you act like you see what's being done. It's just, but in the whole new world, there's a whole new way of living. A whole lot less pain. A lot of gaining. A lot to gain. A lot to gain. But you cannot get this until you become equipped for this. And in order to be equipped for this, there is an encounter, several. But there's an initial encounter that you must have with someone. And when you have that encounter, and I'm going to say goodnight, you don't turn around and go back home because you were told that what you were looking for, it has been found. This encounter gets your undivided attention. It gets the whole you. And it then sets you on a journey to become who you ought to be. God bless you.